That's probably what they need to hear more than anything is the thing that you're trying to avoid at all costs is probably the greatest source of maturity that you will ever encounter.
We live in a society today, of course, where we want everything easy. We want everything to be fun. We don't want to be inconvenienced by anything or anybody, especially our families.
Oh, yeah.
And having kids can be hard, and
Yes.
it's really hard. And marriage can be really hard.
Amen.
And being a family member and a friend and a daughter and all the roles that we fill can sometimes be really, really hard. And I think you hit it right on the head that just because it's hard doesn't mean it's bad. So tell me how you jumped into this whole idea. Like, where did that even come from? Did you hear that somewhere? Or did you just one day think, you know what, this is really, really hard, but it doesn't mean it's bad?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It was on a walk with my best friend, Lindsay, who does the art in both of my books. And so we were walking along and I was talking to her about all these DMs that I was getting from moms who were wanting a solution to the thing that they were struggling with. They wanted the easy out. You've been a mom for this amount of time. You have 5 or 6 kids. Tell me the trick that helps me bypass the hard.
Yeah.
And I was just telling her, like, that's not how the Lord has designed life to work. Because I was in the midst, or like right on the edge, kind of the outer edge of having walked through about 1.5 years of my twin toddler girls being absolutely insane. Were just, everything was a fight. Everything was a meltdown. Everything was a sensory overload. Everything was a screaming match. They actually weren't super defiant, but they just could not regulate their emotions at all. And so getting them to eat, getting them in their car seats, and that's not the hardest thing I've ever walked through by far, but I was in motherhood looking at this like I could throw up my hands and say, none of these tips and tricks that these people want from me are actually working with these people, with these children, these toddlers. Or I can say, Galatians 6:9, don't grow weary of doing good. I'm not at the harvest time yet. We are just barely into like 3 years old with these girls. We've got to hang in here in the hard. And so as I was talking with my friend, I said, the thing is, they want to bypass to the hard, but sometimes the hard is where the growth is, because hard is not bad. It's not the same thing. Sometimes it's bad, but it doesn't equate bad. And I kind of stopped and she goes, well, tell them that. Tell them that. Like, that's probably what they need to hear more than anything is the thing that you're trying to avoid at all costs is probably the greatest source of maturity that you will ever encounter.
Yeah. Yeah. God is interesting in that he takes us on these journeys of highs and lows, ups and downs, and it is hard to walk through the difficult times in our lives. But oftentimes I think as Christians and in our culture today, in the relevant church that, is alive today, a lot of these churches are spouting this, we want just pray, we want the easy thing. They want to just throw a coin into a machine and they want God to pop out the easy thing for them.
Yeah.
Instead of the Lord taking us through these trials. And sometimes he takes us through these. Well, always he takes us through these to grow us because he loves us and he cares about us. I hate seeing my kids suffer. I don't like seeing them do hard things. It's really, really difficult for me. But sometimes I realize they have to do the hard thing in order to accomplish whatever it is they're trying to accomplish, or in order to succeed at this thing that they're trying to succeed at. And the Lord does the same with us.
Absolutely.
So you talked about your kids, and so your 11-year-olds, right, are your twin girls.
Yes.
So this has been several years ago. How many did you have ahead of them? So you at that time had how many kids?
At that time, I had a baby, the 2 toddlers, and 3 older, so 6 kids.
Okay. So you had your hands full.
Yeah.
How did the Lord get you through that? Because I know it's not just a magic pill. You can't just say, oh, just do this and everything's going to be fine. Right. You're being real with these moms saying, yeah, it's okay to grapple with the hard. Where do you take them from there?
Right. So the subtitle of my book is The Perspective Shift That Could Completely Change the Way You Mother. In other words, that's the starting point. That's not the be all end all. Just because you write hard is not the same thing as bad on a Post-it note does not guarantee that your attitude is going to be great when your toddler throws that fit, or your teenager says something really ugly to you, or your adult child is not walking in the faith, like incredibly hard stuff. Or, I mean, God forbid your child has cancer. Like we have friends that are walking through that right now. And they could look at me and say that it's a slap in the face to say that our heart is not bad. But notice I did not say all hard is not bad. I said it's not the same thing as when we make that perspective shift in our minds. It helps us to then say, okay, so if there could be some good in this, what's my responsibility, Lord? And I'm going to tell you, when you pray open prayers like that, they're scary because the Lord is going to say, your responsibility is to respond in kindness, even when someone else abuses you and lies about you or screams in your face, or, you know, you think your kids are bullying you, whatever the situation. Because my husband told me, he said, I don't think this should just be a motherhood book. This is true for every Christian. And I said, yeah, my primary audience right now is mothers. We'll see if it will go, you know, from there. But that jumping off point of at least not viewing yourself as a victim is so crucial. From there, there's all kinds of steps we can take. We can practice self-control. We can grow in the fruit of the Spirit. We can rely on the Lord to bring mentors in our life that would give us practical tips to help with our job or our relationships or our children or whatever. But at least you've stopped looking at every bad thing that comes or hard thing that comes your way as bad. And that's important.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.